Imelda, Daddy's little girl. Final episode. Imelda, the light of my Woolard. Still, life has mysterious ways of healing wounds people believe will never close. Years later, Tyrell met Olivia. She was patient, understanding, and gentle enough to love a man carrying invisible scars. She never tried to replace Jasmine or erase the memory of the woman he lost. Instead, she simply loved him carefully. Slowly, Tyrell smiled again, laughed again, breathed again. Then one evening, Olivia handed him a tiny gift box during dinner. Inside were baby socks. Tyrell stared at them silently while emotion flooded his eyes. "We're having a baby," Olivia whispered softly. That night, Tyrell sat alone in the nursery room and cried quietly. Not because he was sad, but because after years of darkness, hope had finally knocked on his door again. And every single night afterward, Tyrell prayed for one thing: a little girl. From the very beginning of their relationship, Tyrell always told Olivia one thing: if I ever become a father again, I want a little girl. Olivia used to smile every time he said it, because she could hear the softness in his voice whenever he talked about having a daughter someday. And from the moment Olivia told him she was pregnant, Tyrell never stopped praying. Every single night before sleeping, he prayed quietly for a baby girl. Not for himself alone, but because after losing so much, he wanted another chance to protect, love, and experience the kind of bond only a daughter could give. Even Olivia noticed how serious he was about it. Sometimes she would wake up in the middle of the night and find him resting his hand gently on her stomach, whispering prayers softly. "A little girl," he would whisper emotionally. "Please, God, let be a little girl." He imagined tiny braids, tiny dresses, tiny hands holding his fingers. He imagined hearing a little voice call him Poppy. Then finally, during a hospital appointment, the doctor smiled. "It's a girl." Tyrell broke down emotionally right there in the room. A daughter. His answer prayer. From that day onward, he became obsessed with preparing for her arrival. He painted the nursery himself despite making mistakes repeatedly. He bought tiny dresses Olivia laughed about because the baby isn't even here yet. At night, he sat quietly inside the nursery, imagining her sleeping there someday. And he already knew her name. Imelda. The name felt soft and beautiful the first time he spoke it aloud. Then finally, she arrived. The moment Tyrell heard Imelda cry inside the hospital room, his entire body trembled emotionally. When a nurse carefully placed the tiny baby into his arms, he froze completely. She was so small, so warm, so precious. And then, Imelda opened her eyes briefly. Tyrell's tears fell instantly, because for one tiny moment, he saw Jasmine again. Not enough to hurt him, just enough to remind him that love never truly leaves us. "My little girl," he whispered while crying softly. "Poppy's here." And from that day forward, Imelda became the center of his entire world. The house that once felt haunted by grief became alive again. Tiny footsteps replaced silence. Laughter replaced emptiness. Cartoons replaced loneliness. Tyrell became the kind of father who learned how to braid hair through online videos. The kind who attended tea parties sitting on tiny plastic chairs because Imelda insisted he was King Poppy. Every evening, she waited excitedly near the door for him to return home. And the moment she saw him, she would scream happily, "Poppy!" Nothing in the world healed him more than that voice. But bedtime became Tyrell's favorite part of every day, because every night, curled safely against his chest, Imelda always whispered the same thing. "Tell me the story again." Not fairy tales, not princess stories. She wanted their story. So every night Tyrell told her about love, about sacrifice, about heartbreak, about hope, about the little girl he prayed for long before she ever arrived. And before leaving her to sleep, he will tell her, "My pumpkin, you and your mama are my reason to live or die." Then Imelda would smile sleepily, kiss his cheek softly, and whisper, "I love you, Poppy." And every single night, Tyrell held her close, kissed her forehead gently, and silently thanked God for giving life back to him through Imelda, his forever little girl. If you enjoy the story, so far please like, comment, and share.